So hello everyone, welcome to part 3 of this series about openQA. And like I said in the previous episode, I want to add my own test of my own application to openQA. And to do that, I have openQA here. So if you're not sure on how to install it, I have a video about the installation, and link in the description below, of course, and just follow along there. And it's quite easy to do actually. So I have no test suites at this moment, and I will want to show you real quick the workflow of adding new tests. So before I show you the workflow of adding new tests, let's first look at the picture here, and I'll describe what we're dealing with. So this is the openQA web frontend and databases installed. In this case, it's installed and I have it here in my boxes application. I have the openQA there. Okay, and in that same on that same machine, I have the worker using OS auto inst as a component there, and QEMU is also there. What do we have? Some user utilities. So the fifth loader is like being able to load a fifth template into openQA. So I will look at this fifth template and fifth loader. I also had that covered in my second video. I will extend on that this video. Then you have the openQA client, and I use that to post an ISO. In other words, trigger a job. So openQA is meant for OS testing for various ISOs actually. So the way to trigger a new test is to post an ISO. So that's a little bit different than normally, but yeah, that's the way it's designed, of course. And you can also clone jobs using the openQA client. Then you have your tests and your needles, and you will, and if a test runs, the needle will be the image that it tries to find on the screen. So for example, a repository os auto inst distri fedora.git. I use that as well, but I have my own fork on Pagure. So what's the workflow of adding new tests? First, you create a new test, and that's a Perl module. What I just do is I copy a directory. I will copy directory of the calc test and make that the new test. And after that, you adjust the fifth template. You have the profiles, the machines, the products, and the test suites in there. I will show you an example of that. And then also the job templates, these are optional. Okay. And then you use the fifth loader to actually upload it. And after that, you post the ISO, and then openQA will start running the new test. And that's basically it for the new test development workflow. So coming back to the fifth template, I've looked at it, the structure, and it's as follows. The profiles is important, and then you have the Fedora Workstation Live ISO, for example, references the same profile in the test suite, so then it knows what profile to use. So based on a certain profile, you can run specific tests. This is just one test, events, but you can have multiple, of course. Then the machine, and it's reference to machines 64-bit here in the machines part. And then you have a product, and a product is an ISO in this case. So if you have the profile, these three keys, then the test openQA environment knows what kind of test to run and what test cases to run against which machine and configuration. That's it for this one. And then coming back to the workflow, let's do it step by step. Create a new test, a new Perl module. To show you that, I will connect to my running virtual machine. So as you saw in my previous video, if you've looked at it, then you'll see I create the tests here, varlib openQA tests, and the tests are for Fedora, and then you have this directory. Yeah. So git remote show it, and then you see here the pager, the fork I have of OS Auto Inst distri Fedora. So you can create your own fork, of course. Okay, if you go into the tests directory applications, you have the 3 of these folders. For this video, let me remove the WX demo. Okay, now you have 2 of them, 2 tests, so events and calc. Let's copy calc to WX demo. CD into WX demo. So we have the test here, AAA setup. Let's open it in Vim. Okay, this is the run. Install test banner. Same. Okay, copy. Let's paste the script in there. So what I've done, I've created a script. I've tested it on my own machine, and it worked. And then I just used this blocks like assert script run. It's a standard function. Assert script run and then dnf install. You install these. So lots of command line, and you have an example. I will show you in a minute what kind of examples these are. And you go into one specific example, a wizard, a dialog wizard. You make it, you copy it to temp, and then you switch to the desktop. Okay, then you start a terminal, and then you go into the temp and then launch that wizard. And then you just wait. So you have 2 asserts here, assert screen terminal, there's 1, assert screen wizard. So the first time you will run this script, it will fail on that screen. So I will show you an example this time that I will fix that needle. I will add that needle to the test, and then run the test again. And then it will pass because you have the new needle. So this is basically the workflow. The way I see it now is just to create your script, see where you want to assert, run your test, and then create a needle when you need to. So the first time, and then the second time, of course, it should be stable. Okay. So this is the script. That's it for that one. We close it. So that's step 1 is done there. Go to the next one. I've done this one. The Perl module is created, and the next is the 5th template. Let's go to the Vim, the light. Okay, I've talked about this file, and then you have the calc, WX demo. It's already in there, so you just copy and paste this one and change some parameters, and then you will have the second test there. Okay, let's go over it real quick. You have the profile, of course. I've discussed that already, what it is. Post install path is the location to the script. Test applications WX demo. Start after test, I removed it. Removed something because I wanted to be independent of any other tests. So no prerequisites in that regard. And then skip post fail hooks and then test debug. So these 2 are options. And I will tell you a little bit about what it is. So these 2 options are actually from the test development tips and tricks. So the backend variables for faster test execution. So you have like the set exit after schedule is 1, and also the skip post fail hooks. If you fail, then it will go through like gathering the data and stuff like that and sending it over, but it takes a long time and you don't need it because I expect the test to fail in my case. Okay, and then the snapshots, you can use test snapshots, actually using QEMU for that. So after each Perl module runs, so WX demo has 1 Perl module, so, and the login is also a Perl module. So each test is a Perl module. So after it runs, it will create a snapshot, and when it fails, you can easily restart from that snapshot. The snapshot is done using QEMU's functionality. So there's a whole topic here, but this is just mentioning it. You can investigate, of course, but for now, it's okay to know you can create this snapshot and it will help you speed up your test development. The reason I use test debug here is that this takes a lot of disk space. So the make test snapshots created each time, and then the test debug is always overwriting the snapshot. So you can easily revert back, but it will not save all these snapshots, just the one, and revert. So it saves a lot of disk space. So I have these two options in there as well. Let's exit out of there and go to the next step. Is, of course, we have the fifth template now prepared. The fifth loader is the new one. So if you do Python and then fifth loader and then load templates, light, hit enter there, and you can see that you have added these two tests here and also here. Okay, let's go to the web interface of openQA, hit refresh here. You will see that these two have been added. Great. If you go to all tests, then you will see nothing yet, but lots of finished jobs. And then you come to the next step, and that's post the ISO, and that's just one command. Like I mentioned in the introduction, this is actually for testing OSs. So when a new ISO is posted, is when you want to trigger a job. That's why this mechanism is like that. And I used openQA client to post that ISO. Go into there and paste it, command in, and there you go. You see here that it has scheduled some tests. Okay, let's give it some time. Click here, and then you see the calc is running. I'm not interested in the calc, but I'm interested in the WX demo. And give it a little bit time, and it should run. There you go. So now it's running the WX demo. So during the test run, you'll see the module now being run. That's the test graphical wait login. Like I mentioned previous time, you can control the test here using these controls. And what you also see here is the logging of the test. For example, now you see, let's pause the scrolling for now. It's booting the VM. But is searching for the needle login GDM being the GNOME Display Manager. And when it's done booting, you will probably see that it will match the needle. Here you go. And there you go. You see now it's matching it. Found needle, GDM, new logo. So stuff like that you see going on. And then after some time it will log in. And it will run the script. So after some time it fails, and the reason is that click here, so no candidate needle with next button, start setup, auth required matched, but it thinks it should install something, but that's if you look at the settings, I missed one setting. So the setup done one. Control C. Let's go to the test suites. I can remove calc. Why not? Remove it. And hit edit and then paste that one in there. So setup done is 1. Then it will expect an installed Fedora already, and then it should go okay. So just restart this job. What I'll also do is add that, of course, to that script. So even though it's in the test suites, So if you have changes to the settings, I just restarted the job and it didn't pick up the change, so then you probably need to post the ISO. Post the ISO again. Let's double check the settings this time. Settings. Setup done is in there now. Okay, just be aware that yeah, there are some parameters you need to make sure you know. What I did is just look at the script actually. So I just looked at the script and was able to find that parameter that was needed there. Okay, it's running now. Let's give it some time. As you can probably see on my screen, the commands are being executed in the root console. Now it's a step that is building the wizard. So it's copying it to the temp and doing a test user and group. Now this step is done and it will switch to the desktop now. Back on the desktop. Oh, I haven't seen this before actually, but looks to be going okay. Yeah. So now it will probably run terminal, start a terminal and launch that, or at least it will fail now because I don't have the needle of the terminal yet. So terminal is now launched and test will fail. And as you can see, it's trying to figure out what to do with this assertion. So at first it's waiting, wait screen change. That's also a parameter, of course, of the step. It's the wait still screen. Oh, hold on, it's going through. Maybe I do have the needle. Let me double check. So yeah, let me double check. So lucky for me, I can still show you this because yeah, the terminal needle was there, but not the wizard needle. And as you can see here, hopefully, yeah, here you go. So the base test, run test died. No candidate needle with tags wizard matched. So that's good for at least this demonstration. As you can see now, the test is done. Click here and then you'll say, well, hit the plus here, create a new needle. The tag is wizard. And then you can, of course, what do you want to do? Maybe this wizard none. And maybe wizard example here. So these two areas. And then if you hit save, it will say the needle has been created / updated and you can restart the job. So the reason it has the tag in there, at least I think, is because if you look at the tests, applications, oops, XDMO, there you go, is because I have a search screen and I put a wizard there, so then it knows what kind of tag to propagate here to the tags. You can have multiple. It's linked probably to the assert screen here. So okay, if you I've saved it and then you can restart it and it will pass. Let's go back to this overview. So yeah, I think I showed you the workflow of adding a new test. I think it's just 3 simple steps for 4 simple steps. So create a new test, do the template, run the fifth loader, and then post the ISO. And then you can run a test and needles, create needles. There you go. So let me put one block after there. So update this image. I will make sure it's somewhere in the repositories. Yeah, for me it always helps to like create a simple drawing of something, and then it helps you understand what's actually happening. Run test fail create needles, retry. So that's it for this. Maybe one last thing. Actually, there, if you look at the needles directory, you can see the new wizard is added here. So you have the needles in version control. These are baseline images. So depending on the amount of applications you have, and yeah, it could be quite big. This is one thing to realize when working with this kind of way of test automation. Then you can have lots and lots of images in your version control, but that's the way it works. Okay guys, that's it for now, and yeah, let's close off this video. That's it for this video guys. I hope you liked it and maybe learned something new. So this is part 3 of this video series about openQA, and I think I covered a lot, but there's still more to say. So maybe I can also dive into the Python way of creating scripts. It's quite new actually, but for now I want to keep it like this. So if you haven't subscribed already, please don't forget to subscribe to help me out knowing that people like this kind of content. And please feel free to add a comment in the YouTube under the YouTube video, and I promise to read every comment and reply to them if it's necessary. So that's it. See you in the next one. Bye bye.